Welcome everybody to the 6th challenger of the second reign of Star-Crossed Kings. CaptainSPrice has just taken this tournament by storm, annihilating 6 challengers including Jezelin, Lovenest, and Cruz, all of whom were in the top 4 of the Foxrex and Volta tournament. The fourth of those people would, of course, be OMG Pop, who has entered the raffle for this tournament, by the way, but he hasn't won it yet. But if he does, that'll be a match to see. This will also, however, be an incredible matchup. We've got Paul, who was a finalist in the second Star-Crossed Cup, of course. Paul going up against CaptainSPrice now. Let's see if he can succeed where all other challengers have failed. We have Paul playing as Soviets in the left of Famenville Approach, CaptainSPrice playing as Overcommando West in the right, and look at this! Look at this early Mechanized Regiment HQ. I've never seen anybody get one that early before. Man, he must really think that is just a great idea. Seemed to work out getting it pretty early against Cruz. Now he's getting it super early on this map. I wonder what his rationale is there. He's chosen Overcommando West first instead of Oster this time against Paul's Soviets. Paul has fielded Armored Assault, Shock Rifle, and Mechanized Support. It's kind of an interesting loadout. We don't see any T-3485s, for example. But he has access to the IS-2 and the ISU-152. Well, actually, I take that back. He does have T-3485s, but no guards, which actually makes sense because guards just don't seem that great. So he's chosen this commander instead. Interesting. I don't know what he's gonna go for. I guess he'll probably just choose based on his situation later in the game. He's opening up with 4 squads of conscripts, and CaptainSPrice, with his super early Mechanized Regiment HQ, will not have very much infantry at this time. Paul will try to contend with Sturm Pios and Volksgrenadiers here. Sturm's closing into short range. Conscripts need to switch targets here. Looks like the engagement's going to go to CaptainSPrice. Conscripts will retreat before they take too much manpower bleed. They couldn't drop any of those Sturm Pioneers on the approach, really. Got caught a little bit out of position. And even though CaptainSPrice fielded a Mechanized Regiment HQ first, he still manages to win that early engagement due to some slightly bad positioning by Paul there. Volksgrenadier squad making its way towards the center will get this victory point under control, and we've got a couple squads from Paul making their way towards the south. Combat Engineers and
We have taken it.
conscripts will secure building control here in the center. These 3 squads are going to make their way towards center, taking control of the victory point here. And these conscripts are going to make their way to the front line to engage these Volksgrenadiers. We've got some ghosted sandbags blocking pathing here, so anytime CaptainSPrice vaults this wall, he will be forced to take a very long retreat path. Interesting use of that sandbag ghosting there by Paul. I've never seen that particular technique on this map. I wonder if that will afford him a particular advantage. This, by the way, I debated whether I should allow in the tournament or not. I decided to allow it, and that is the #1 reason that Simoski Summer is not in the map pool, because this can be abused really badly on Simoski Summer. On most of the other, if not all of the other maps in the map pool, might give you a slight advantage in a situation like this, but not usually anything that would have too dramatic of an impact on the outcome of the game. Conscripts get into short range on these Volksgrenadiers, and they will be forced to retreat, giving Paul full munitions control at this point of the game. But there's the flak half-track, makes it on the field at 5 minutes. That is quick. That is very quick. Stern Pioneers will contend with Flamethrower in this building, and Flak Half-Track will have no problem forcing a retreat right there. But he's gonna have to... Ooh, got out the wrong door! Ouch! That hurt. Gets back in the building, leaves that door to try and make a slightly more safe retreat. Folks Grenadiers engaging conscripts by this building, take out 2 before they can make it inside. They do have 4 windows here on the south side. Now only 3 remain though. Engaging at medium range, they should be okay if they don't get forced out by this Flak Half-Track here. Looks like they're going to have to make a retreat. But Paul's making a big advance here with his conscripts and Flamethrower Combat Engineer right here.
Regimental headquarters advise. Panzer Fusiliers are ready for action.
Flak Half-Track making its way to the front lines as well. Firing on that house. Flamethrower will disengage. Conscripts also disengaging. Paul is fielding a field gun right now. It's in production. Field Infirmary before AT grenades. I'm not sure if he wants to get that or not. He's got 4 squads of conscripts, so if he could swarm this AT or Flak Half-Track with AT grenades, he could try and take it out that way. But he's gonna wait for his field gun to arrive first. Captain Price making his way towards the center with Volksgrenadiers and Sturmpiles, and now that he's hit 2 command points, he started fielding Panzer Fusiliers, made 2 of them. One making its way towards the south, this one making its way more towards the center. Flak Half-Track circling around towards the north, trying to make something happen on his infantry squads. Paul has 135 munitions in the bank, spent 120 on flamethrowers, don't see any mines from him yet. If he could try and punish Captain Price's Flak Half-Track movements with some mines, he might be able to follow up with the field gunner anti-tank grenade swarm.
Secure the vehicle. Location set. Begin conversion. Target secure.
Squads making their way towards the middle. Anti-tank gun has set up here in the road. Flak Half-Track kind of circling around in the back, trying to play it safe while this Panzer Fusilier squad makes its way towards the south for map control. One big advantage of this strategy for Captain Price, early on it seems to suffer from map control clearly, but once he hits 2 command points and can start flooding the battlefield with Panzer Fusiliers, seems to be able to get a lot of map control quite quick. Field gun shot missed! Doesn't matter, he pulled back well in time. Would have been able to get that repaired regardless. Makes no big deal, or no huge difference. And these sandbag ghosts still continue to block the retreat path there by those Panzer Fusiliers. Engagement between Fusiliers and Flamethrower. Looks like it will go to the Fusiliers, make it into a nice spread out position here. Dropping those Combat Engineers quite quickly, I think. Yeah, there they go. Combat Engineers will retreat. Vaults back over the wall to defend this cutoff. Behind that green cover position, Paul will secure building control here. Conscripts in the north taking control of this munitions point. And he decided he's going to clear these sandbags up.
We are losing territory.
Forces are going to try to secure building control here in the center, and Paul has gone with a tier 3 structure. He's got the fuel for a T-70, but it looks like he's waiting for a T-34. Once the T-34 is on the field, it will be a significant threat to this Flak Half-Track, and there will not be a Jagdpanzer anytime in the near future. Conscripts are taking control of this VP, and the North Munitions has been taken by conscripts as well.
Grenadiers back to full strength.
Tier 2 up here in Captain Price's base, and it's really interesting to see that Captain Price just does not use Tier 4. Doesn't use it at all, just goes with Volksgrenadiers, Fusiliers, Flak Half-Track into Jagdpanzer, and man, it seems to work really effectively so far. Except against Jezelin. Jezelin shut that down easily on Kolodny Ferma Summer. but against all other opponents it seems to be very effective thus far. I'm curious to see if Paul's T-34 selection here will be successful. There's the first Panzerschreck upgrade with the flag half-track supporting. Does not feel the need for G43s. Goes with the Panzerschreck instead to give himself protection against that T-34. Flamethrower and another flamethrower working on the south here should capture this munitions before getting forced away by those Fusiliers. Trying to get some lucky crits. None so far though. There's one. Field gun still in the road. A couple squads going to counter down there in the south. And Paul will maintain building control. T-34 is going to go straight north and expose itself to those Volksgrenadiers right there, rather than hunting immediately for the flak half-track. He's going to pull away ever so slightly when he sees that Panzerschreck and make his way more towards the center, I think. See if he can make something happen on these infantry squads. T-34 pulling away slightly from those Volksgrenadiers, and still no commander selection, by the way, by Paul. All infantry in the south has been forced away by those conscripts with flamethrower support. T-34 moves down to help secure map control as well, and the flag half-track has been pushed completely off the field. It is a complete non-issue for Paul as long as that T-34, just by existing, it has shut down the usage of that flag half-track. Kettenwerfer firing on the T-34 right there. Gets one shot off. It will be forced back for repairs. It's a little above half. It should be fine.
Stand ready.
These squads setting up in cover. Looks like they're going to go make a harassment attempt towards the south. Minesweeper looking for mines here in the north, just to be careful for that T-34, but again, don't think CaptainSPrice has laid any. He's actually purchased a Minesweeper of his own, just to be safe as well, but I don't think Paul has laid any. He's got 335 munitions in the bank.
Infantry attacking in force.
T-34 has been repaired and is making its way to the front line. Try and push these Volksgrenadiers out of their position and cover. Get this cutoff back under control. A little bit of a late retreat, in fact, on those Volksgrenadiers. Looks like they're going to get away, though. Flak half-track is exposed over there on the right side. T-34 changes his mind. Thought he saw an opening. Decided not to go for it. Somebody's at my door. That was awkward. Okay, T-34 engaging Volksgrenadiers right here. Flamethrower is going to make its way up to the front and force them to retreat. No lucky crits, though. Minesweeper moving up here. We actually are going to see some mines from Paul now on the fuel point. Flamethrower engineers making their way towards the munitions. And while Paul still holds the cutoff, CaptainSPrice isn't going to get any income from those territories there in the south.
We are losing supplies to the enemy. Fire incoming! Heavy machine gun team prepared for combat.
Conscripts moving in on that Volksgrenadier squad. Get the Molotov off, but will immediately retreat, and the Jagdpanzer is on the field to protect against that T-34, so he's going to have to be careful exactly how he utilizes it. He's repaired it up here with these flamethrowers, managing the threat of Panzer Fusiliers with Molotovs here in the south, but 2 squads down there, so he doesn't have enough forces in the area to counter. Molotov connects nicely there, but no lucky crits. We may see those those conscripts forced to retreat as well. Jagdpanzer catches that T-34 out of position. It's going to go in hard. The field gun's not really in position to counter. Oh, and he picks it at the last second. That T-34 had to keep moving. He didn't keep it moving, and it got taken out. Meanwhile, the flak half-track forces retreats from 2 squads here in the north. Maxim's getting cleaned up here in the south as well. Paul has lost no full infantry squads, as far as I can tell, although he's had some close calls. Might lose this Maxim, actually. But he did lose his T-34, and he now has to contend with the flak half-track and Jagdpanzer. Paul's going to react to this situation by going with mechanized support, so he has access to the ISU-152 and the bomb run. And it performs quite well on this map, so if he can make it to that unit in time, he might have a chance. Demo charge going down up here, but it's going to get swept, I think. Molotov going down here, but the conscripts will be forced to retreat. And his demo charge does get swept immediately upon planting it. Grenade does not defuse it, though. Just a wasted grenade. I think a squad just got wiped somewhere. Yes, full squad wiped right there on the fuel point. Was not being monitored. Nice pickup by Paul there in the south. It was a Volksgrenadier squad. Don't think they had a Panzerschreck, though. Or wait, maybe it was a Panzer Fusilier squad, actually. No, I'm not sure. I can't remember. Can't remember what his opening was. Might have been Panzer Fusiliers. Those corpses look like Panzer Fusiliers. Either way. Conscripts and Flamethrower taking control of the territory here in the south. Munitions is getting taken by these Volksgrenadiers here in the north. Combat Engineer Squad will be forced to retreat right there. Maxim Machine Gun will force retreat from Fusiliers there in the center. Stern Pioneers continue to take territory here in the north. And Paul has just moved his field gun back into the base for now. Looks like the Jagdpanzer and flak half-track are just going to sit back and let the infantry do all the heavy lifting here. I'm surprised he's not utilizing that flak half-track with the T-34 completely off the field. It should open up a lot of opportunities for that in harassment and counter-harassment. Another demo charge, by the way, from Paul down here in the south. Maxim and Flamethrower in the north will force retreat from this G43 squad. We could see a squad wipe in the south if... Nice synergy, by the way, with the tripwire flare to give him vision. Not sure if Price saw that getting planted or not. Either way, he will disengage. If a squad triggers the flare and provides Paul with vision here in the south, then he can react to that by detonating the demo charge on the full squad as it continues its advance. Nice! Molotov gets 2 flame crits right there. This blob vaulting the wall is a little off. Molotov doesn't quite catch it. And that squad will retreat. Another demo charge in the center. They're all over the map now. He's going to sweep that one up too, though. Yep, there it is. He spots it perfectly. Big flank coming from these 3 squads of infantry should force that Maxim from the building. Very nice minesweeper play by Captain Price to sweep up 2 demo charges. Flak half-track is doing counter-harassment here in the north. It's actually moved up from its defensive position. Doesn't have to worry about a T-34. Should be able to clean up that squad, get it off the field. These conscripts are going to work on the strategic point here. And this flanking force of infantry actually hasn't done that much damage to this Maxim. He's going to stay in the house for now. Needs to be careful, though. Captain Price clearly knows about the... demo charge right there, moving his infantry to avoid that for now. High explosive barrage from, ooh, that was a pretty big hit from the field gun. Trying to screen the retreat of that Maxim, but not gonna happen. Maxim gets wiped. 2 squads making their way towards the center now. Molotov goes out on those Panzer Fusiliers. And CaptainSPrice has a lot of clustered infantry. Ooh, here in the center. Grenade on the demo charge will neutralize it. Conscripts try to secure building control, but will definitely get brute forced out by this massive G43s and Sturm Pioneers. Paul is up to 250 fuel, lots of command points. I think he's going to get that ISU 152 out. Once he does, CaptainSPrice might be in a bit of trouble. He's certainly not anywhere near a Jagdtiger. He's going to have to fight an ISU 152 with Jagdpanzer and Raketenwerfer. Not that much AT. He's got one Panzerschreck. ISU is going to be a serious problem. Paul's done a pretty good job of maintaining map control despite the loss of that T-34. These squads are making their way out of Paul's base towards the center. G43s on this Panzer Fusilier squad taking control of that strategic point. And Sturm Pioneers are taking control of this fuel. There it is, makes a pretty big entrance. 6 kills on the first shot. Wow, that hurts. Could be a wipe already if it takes the shot. Yep, there it is. Full squad of Volksgrenadiers just erased. Wow, 11 kills. G43's retreating from this area. Volksgrenadier squad, little exposed again without any turreted tanks. This thing will be very, very hard to take on. Wow, look at these huge hits. Huge hits. Jagdpanzer can't really engage it safely with the field gun screening. And here is the mechanism that Paul can utilize to come back into this game, if he was even really behind. Losing the T-34 was problematic, but again, no infantry squad losses, and now he's already inflicted huge damage on his opponent. New demo charge here in the center. If he can get that minesweeper wiped, which he's trying to do right now, if he wipes that minesweeper, we could see some seriously huge demo charges like this one, for example. Oh, he detonated a little early. I think he should have been a little more patient. Will he finish it? Oh, the hedge. Hedge blocked his line of sight. Minesweeper squad gets away. And the Jagdpanzer apparently triggers the flare. Wow, that is a tight clump. He needs to be careful. He needs to be careful about this clumping. That ISU... That ISU will shred a clump like that easily. CaptainSPrice up to 170 fuel with no tier 4 structure. He cannot get a Panther. If he goes for a Puma, he'll have to be extremely careful with it. This Jagdpanzer is his only real weapon here. Crew shocked by a high explosive shot. Field gun's trying to get in position. Oh, that clump, that clump! Oh, fortunately, Paul just switched to armor-piercing rounds. Jagdpanzer continues to chase. We've got 2 squads moving up from the north. Field gun available for a high explosive barrage, but nothing really yet. ISU taking a shot at the Jagdpanzer. Bounces, wow. Surprisingly enough. At this range. Oh, it switched back. Switched back to high explosive again. Interesting. Oh, a little ambivalent about exactly what he wants to do, apparently. These squads taking heavy damage from flamethrower. There it is, squad wipe on that flamethrower squad. Not sure he was monitoring that. Needs to be careful with his IS-2. Spending a lot of micro attention on that thing. Moving the field gun up to assist. He's switching back to armor-piercing rounds, getting into pretty scary close range here. Whoa, what is this maneuver? Oh, that was terrible. Jagdpanzer activates cloaking. ISU falling a little bit low here, but the field gun is still screening. huge hit. Wow. Huge hit from the ISU. He could just attack ground through those trees, maybe. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was so close. I think Paul's probably going to disengage at this point. Try to pull back for some repairs. Throughout the course of this, I don't know if any territory has changed hands. Folks Grenadiers working on the north there, but the map is perfectly split in half. Paul doesn't hold this point, so the clock is stopped right now. 380 points, almost exactly even for both players. This ISU already has 19 kills, off to a pretty good start. That Jagdpanzer did an okay job managing the threat that it posed, but once it switched to armor-piercing rounds and landed that one shot, it had to pull back for repairs, so you can't take any risks there, especially when that Jagdpanzer is your only solution. But with the Jagdtiger available to him in not that much fuel, by the way, just 70 more fuel, he'll have a real counter to that ISU on the field. And at that point, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Paul not nearly as close to his second ISU by any means. That being said, the bombing strike is pretty effective against the Jagdtiger if he can damage its engine and save the munitions. Got 180 in the bank, so he'll have a little bit of anti-Jagdtiger tools at his disposal. So much for that squad. Probably should have waited for that blob of Fusiliers, though. There was a much more juicy target on its way. Oh well. ISU's about to get repaired over there. And the engagement will be rejoined. Conscripts going in on this Fusilier blob, taking heavy casualties right there. ISU firing high explosive rounds. Wipes the squad. There goes another one. CaptainSPrice reduced now to only 4 infantry squads. It's just losing them left and right. That thing is a killing machine. The Jagdpanzer is just not a significant enough threat, and CaptainSPrice just needs that Jagdtiger. He wants it so bad, he's floating the resources for it, but 50 more fuel is so much. Oh no. Jagdpanzer firing on the ISU. It's up to Vet 2, giving it an armor boost. ISU is not switching round types, just going to disengage. Field gun moving up to screen. We do have the stolen Panzerschreck on the ground, I think. Oh no, that's a new demo charge. I don't know what happened to the Panzerschreck. Oh, it got recovered by Panzer Fusiliers and then they got wiped, so. New demo charge right there with the field gun available to protect. Jagdpanzer will not get too aggressive. Pulls back. Combat engineers moving up to provide vision, and we will see territory change hands once again as flamethrowers make their way towards the north. Conscripts retake the south victory point. Couple of squads making their way across this area as well, taking control of that strategic point, possibly also this one. That's good advice, random German soldier.
Enemy infantry! All complete infantry!
Big hit on the Jagdpanzer from the ISU. 2 field guns available here to screen against that Jagdpanzer. Can't do anything. Jagdtiger is now only 10 fuel away. It's definitely going to hit the field before this game ends. Tons of victory points left in the bank. But that second ISU actually is probably going to arrive at about the same time. So it's going to be tough for that Jagdtiger. Gonna be tough.
Under attack!
But with Jagdpanzer support, it could definitely go either way.
Orders complete. Jagdtiger, ready for action. Alarm! Fighter!
Bomb run coming in on the battle group headquarters. Interesting decision. That's all of his munitions. He won't have access to it for the Jagdtiger now that he's done that, but he should be able to destroy that with one more shot from anything.
Receiving effective fire!
Wipes that out. Jagdtiger's on the field. That ISU's already pretty low health. If that gets nailed by one shot from the Jagdtiger, it could be huge. Oh! And there it is. Jagdpanzer secures the kill. Huge opening shot from that Jagdtiger, and the ISU goes down just like that. He was a little too brave. Little too brave with that ISU, continuing to engage at half health. I hope it was worth it to take out a battle group headquarters. Really needed to repair that thing to full. Now Paul is burdened with fielding a new ISU and trying to take out that Jagdtiger, if he even feels that's worthwhile. He's actually spending a lot of his manpower on a field gun and a combat engineering squad. So maybe he's just going to go with infantry from this point forward. The fact that there's the Jagdtiger on the field means that it doesn't really do anything against infantry. So maybe he just won't make an ISU at all. Maybe he'll just go with infantry or lighter vehicles. And try and win with just infantry from here. The only real anti-infantry threats on the field are Panzer Fusiliers and the Flak half-track, which might be manageable with conscript spam. I don't know. He has a lot of victory points to get rid of. Another demo charge cleared out of the central victory point with that grenade. I don't know why Paul's flamethrowering himself to death. What is he doing? He's like owning his conscripts. Why is he doing that? I don't understand. That was a little weird. He was probably attack moving with those squads towards this area and clicked on the wreck. Kind of burned a lot of his conscripts alive with that misclick. Moves up to actually engage these forces now. Forces a few retreats, hops into the green cover, may be able to take this engagement. High explosive barrage does a little light damage to those squads in green cover. Try and push them out of the VP.
Field promotion. Switch to G43s.
Now that the ISU is off the field, by the way, CaptainSPrice cranking a ton of manpower into Panzer Fusiliers. He doesn't feel the need for anti-tank since he has a Jagdtiger, clearly. So he's just going to start cranking out those G43 squads like crazy. Paul doesn't seem to have any intention of making another ISU, cranking all of his manpower into massed infantry, massed flamethrowers from this point forward. He knows that an ISU would not be able to contend with a Jagdpanzer and Jagdtiger. Neither of these are a serious threat to his infantry. He's just going to make a ton of flamethrowers to try and handle his opponent's Panzer Fusiliers. And I think that we're probably going to need this Flak half-track to participate a little bit in these infantry engagements. Just sitting there in the back, it's not going to get the job done. Not to mention, with the battle group headquarters destroyed, no healing. No healing at all unless he deploys these medical boxes. But he's, of course, going to go with a new battle group headquarters now. Try and get that healing done in his base so he doesn't get bled too hard in these engagements for the center. It looks like Paul's going to take this moment of rest. Going to defend here in the middle with this Maxim and send about half of his army, I guess, towards the north to try and get some munitions under his control. Maybe get another bombing run. Couple squads retreating there. And these three are making their way back towards the center. And the healing will begin here in CaptainSPrice's base. It's going to take some time. He's got a lot of wounded squads hanging out here. Jagdtiger's actually going to move up a little bit to start taking pot shots at something, I guess. Try and hope for some lucky snipes versus infantry to maybe vet it up a little, but if Paul doesn't make any vehicles, it really has nothing to contribute. Captain Price going to make another attempt for the center, but he's not committing that many of his forces right now, so seems unlikely to succeed, and his victory point bleed's getting a little out of control. Paul is now 120 victory points ahead, and Captain Price doesn't have a whole lot of tools with which to deal with that. Still has no tier 4 structure, can't make Obersoldaten. His flak half-track is still his strongest anti-infantry counter. Fusiliers don't seem to be getting the job done right now. This blob making its way towards the south with minesweeper support, by the way, to prevent nasty demo charges. Paul has a blob making its way towards the center as well, with a lot of flamethrowers in the mix. He's at a good range for this engagement with those flamethrowers for sure. Ooh, unless that happens. Ouch. Captain Price is kind of walking into the flames, though. He took kind of a lot of damage just from that burst flamethrower, probably more than Paul did. Conscripts utilizing the destroyed ISU here for green cover, not actually taking much damage, and the flames get a lot of manpower bleed there on Captain Price. Not a whole lot of manpower bleed at all on Paul by comparison, utilizing this cover here in the center. They will be able to hold this line for some time. Unless that happens, Captain Price has had enough. He's like, fuck that green cover, and pops it with his Jagdtiger, finding a way to make that Jagdtiger useful in these infantry engagements here in the late game. He's going to shell this building as well, try and get that Maxim out of there. He spent 290 fuel on it, and he's damn well going to make it contribute something.
Half-track is in action. Standing by for setting of command post.
Flamethrower moving up here, trying to take control of the cutoff. Paul does manage to hold the line despite taking a bit of damage there on some of his squads. Don't think I saw any squads wiped. Should be able to heal up just fine. These field guns are going to move up to see if they can maybe make something happen to something. Flak half-track still just sitting here defending. Panzer Fusiliers just sitting here defending. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Does he have a line? I don't think he does. He doesn't see it. Or maybe he does. He does see it. Pop smoke immediately. How does he see it? I have no idea how Paul has... Oh wait, that's not Paul's fog of war. There we go. No, he didn't see it. I'm pretty sure he just shot through that. Hope for the best. Either way, flak half-track gets away. This force of Paul's infantry is trying to continue to contend with the massive amount of G43s. All 5 of these squads upgraded with G43s now. Paul has 465 fuel in the bank. If I were Paul, I might even think about going tier 4 and getting a Katyusha, because he could probably keep that safe against the Jagdtiger. But I don't know if he has the manpower for that. In this red cover road, flamethrowers are getting killed so quick. Wow, 2 flamethrowers wiped. Third one going down now. Manages to keep that one alive and recovers one of the lost flamethrowers there with those conscripts, so he does preserve 2 of those 3 flamethrowers in that engagement, but he needs to get out of this road for sure. Full squad of Fusiliers also gets wiped to flame crits. So many flamethrowers, so many G43s. It's become a complete infantry war with the Jagdtiger and Jagdpanzer on the field. It's so weird to be this late in the game and have just infantry slugging it out with infantry because of this particular matchup. Jagdtiger to take out the ISU cannot contribute in infantry engagements. And it's just G43s versus flamethrower spam apparently. We've actually got an extra Maxim here from Paul. I would like to see tier 4 structure from him. How much does that cost anyway? 240 manpower. So kind of a lot of manpower for him to be spending when he's trying to throw out as many conscripts and flamethrowers as he can. But I think it's a purchase that could pay off when he's up against this. Like, look at that, 1 Katyusha barrage away from pure just devastation. With all of his munitions going into flamethrowers, he does not really have room for demo charges. Plus, CaptainSPrice's Minesweeper play has been so on point this game. He's only lost one squad of demo charges in a 40-minute game against Soviets. That's pretty good. Honestly, he's defused I don't even know how many demos with that Minesweeper this game. Like, I think 3 or 4 maybe that I saw. Squads moving up to fire on those. Demo charge here, firing on those combat engineers, and he will defuse it again. He saw it going down. That's another demo charge being defused. More munitions wasted. Smoke being deployed. There it is! Wow, that long shot through the smoke with the tag ground. Nice play by Paul. Very nice play by Paul. Jagdtiger's moving up into an oddly aggressive position here against that field gun. It must still be in the fog. I guess they can't see each other. It's just using it to blow up cover. Again, that's the only thing it can contribute, really. Blowing up cover. That flak half, not that he was even really using it, to be honest, but he will no longer have that defending the North VP, and Paul just keeps draining him. Every time he successfully harasses this and sets up a double cap, those points run out. CaptainSPrice has only 150 remaining. He's got to do something here. That house is so strong, can take a bunch of Jagdtiger hits. It's impossible to blow that thing up. High explosive barrage going off here. In this area, grenades being tossed on the Maxim. Doesn't do all that much. Flamethrowers trying to move up into close range to engage those G43s, and they're little clumps. They are going to be forced to pull back. This huge force of infantry making its way from this direction, and look at Paul's defensive line. He is really going all out on Maxims right now. One Maxim here, making good use of green cover positions, trying to hold Price back. If he can hold this line, he can just keep that victory point drain going. High explosive barrage is coming out. Look at this usage of late game tier 2 from Paul. Just look at him holding this line with Soviet. Green cover positions, machine guns, field guns, everything. G43 swarm from CaptainSPrice is just not cutting it here. It's just not getting the job done. He will not break this line unless he changes his approach somehow. He's running out of time. And look at the south, it's totally undefended. Completely nothing down here at all. CaptainSPrice needs to split up and send some forces to harass territory. Get a different victory point under his control because he cannot break through this wall of Maxims. Nice use of merge from the conscripts as well to keep those Maxims at full health, and then sending the conscript squads home to reinforce. Here comes another attempt by CaptainSPrice, and he will harass the south, sending the Minesweeper squad and the SWS to clear up any mines as well. Try and get that victory point under his control. This really heavy cluster of Soviet troops actually would be vulnerable to the supporting fire from the Jagdtiger if it had Vet 1, but since it doesn't, he can just clump up like that all day. I guess CaptainSPrice could get an infantry support gun to try and break up those formations, but that would be a pretty big dent in his manpower, and only really, I mean, it's a little late. Not sure how much that would really contribute at this point. House may finally get blasted by that Jagdtiger. Or a shot will just fly off into the distance. Stuka would also be an option, but he's pop-capped. Just collected the 100 fuel that he would need for that. Now, if he has a Jagdtiger and a Stuka on the field, things for Paul will actually get very rough. Could see a squad wipe here in the north. Nice pickup by Paul if it happens. One man remaining, there he goes! Nice squad wipe on that G43 squad. That's the first squad wipe that I can remember in like the last quite a while. Full squad of conscripts gets traded there, though.
Supply half-track destroyed. Dispatching alternate command
SWS
truck
blows
now.
up to something randomly down here. And Paul will get that South VP back under his control. We've got another demo charge placement right there. Trying to put him in slightly different locations. Slightly less predictable locations where where Captain Price won't be able to sweep those up. Jagdtiger just pounding away at infantry, hoping for some lucky hits. And there it is. There's the Stuka. Good call by Captain Price to adapt to his situation. Meanwhile, Paul shows no signs of going tier 4. I feel that if he had gotten the Katyusha earlier, maybe he'd be in a better position right now. Maybe there wouldn't be so many squads of infantry on the field. He certainly had the opportunity to do so. But Captain Price will be the first person to field rocket artillery in this 45-minute game now. Because it's the logical thing to do in this situation against heavy tier 2. And I'm wondering what Paul's reaction will be. Without tanks, he'll have no way to hunt it and kill it.
100 points.
I almost wonder if he'll go with a T-34. T-34 would be a pretty good choice because as a quick medium tank, if he were to flank around the north
Rocket half-track.
and catch the Stuka out of position. There are no Volksgrenadiers with Panzerschrecks, no Rakettenwerfers, just the Jagdpanzer and Jagdtigers. So if he can catch the Stuka out of position with a T-34, he can level the playing field a little bit. Or he can just go with a Katyusha of his own if he feels that tier 4 is an expenditure he can afford. Stuka Barrage does clear one field gun there, force some Maxims to retreat, but this blob of infantry moves up directly to engage. They're still in red cover here though, so they're definitely going to lose that engagement. Molotov, ooh, that was a pretty good one. Molotov and the blob will make it reposition away from his retreating forces. Stuka managed 12 kills in that opening barrage, and Paul will be forced to split his forces up. Jagdpanzer moves up to destroy the field gun. And there it goes. Nicely done. Maxim is engaging from the north, suppressing these Panzer Fusiliers and Sturm Pioneers. Still grouping up. He really needs to spread out. That Stuka's going to be able to... Well, not yet. 50 more seconds until he can fire. He's got some time. Got a little time to work with while he tries to push Captain Price off the map and get some VPs back under his control. Moving into super close range on that squad. Look at the crits. Falls dangerously low. The Vet 5 squad may prove a little, not really, more difficult. That retreats pretty much instantly. And the Maxim moving up will get control of this strategic point, and Captain Price will field another squad of Panzer Fusiliers, just trying to keep these waves and waves of infantry under his control. Paul's got a little manpower float. I think he could swing. I think he could swing tier 4. He could probably swing a T-34 if he doesn't want to keep making infantry, which against the Stuka I think I might hesitate to do. Definitely think a T-34 flank around the south could do huge damage to that Stuka. Could destroy it.
We are down to 75 points.
As long as he was able to get there without Price noticing. But these Stuka barrages are 12 kills per barrage. Look at that damage. Softening things up for that advance so much. One Maxim remains, one Con squad remains. These G43s doing too much damage. I don't know if Paul's gonna be able to survive this. He's floating keeps floating manpower here. Which makes me think he wants to get a tank or something, but now he's taken so many losses that I don't know if it's possible for him to win this game. He has a huge victory point lead. He's got time. And operating against an opponent who has 93 pop cap means, I mean, he has no manpower income. Paul has 100 more manpower coming in per minute at this point. And a lot of victory points to work with. Another demo charge is going to get swept up. Look at this. How many demo charges this game just have no impact. I almost think Paul should have just been using it on bomb runs. Bomb runs on Battle Group HQ, bomb runs on maybe the Jagdtiger, clumped infantry formations. Demo charges just don't seem to be cutting it. Either that or a more concerted effort to get rid of that Minesweeper. That Minesweeper is just doing work this game. Also, interesting choice on the munitions caches. When he's already a little behind on manpower. There it is, T-34 by the way. T-34 reaction to the Stuka. If he can make that work, if he can sneak up and take that out, then he'll be poised to work with Tier 2 a little bit more. Keep on working the infantry game. What was that? Full squad of Panzer Fusiliers gets caught by a sneaky demo charge right there. Okay, maybe I take it back. Maybe demo charges are a good idea. Stuka's firing blind will be completely off target. Well, not completely. A little damage to that. A little damage to that Maxim right there. Minesweeper will get the munitions under control down here, and Paul is going to start working on the south VP rather than the center, not wanting to take on that G43 position, especially that Vet 5 squad right there. It's pretty tough. They're forced to retreat, and Paul will rotate back to a different position. And here it goes. This could be big. This definitely could be big. If we look at the positioning, Jagdpanzer is sitting right here in the middle. Jagdtiger here by this tree line. That Stuka could be very vulnerable to a T-34 flanking from the south if he's not ready for it. Not sure what he's thinking yet, though. Not sure what he's thinking he wants to do. Obviously, he doesn't know where in the fog of war that Stuka is, so he doesn't know whether to flank from the north or south. At this time, the north will probably be better, but either way, he can just get in there and find it before the Jagdtiger and Jagdpanzer can rotate. There's a decent chance he could destroy it. Not moving it at all, though. Oh, look at that. He's going for two. He's going for two T-34s. He's massing T-34s before trying to attempt anything. I wonder how many he's going to go for. If he spends the rest of his fuel reserves on T-34 76s, he might win with a T-34 swarm. Because he's got a lot of time and he has a ton of fuel. If he makes like 8 T-34s, he might just drive over everything and kill it all. That's an angle I hadn't even considered. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. Assault artillery coming down here. If a shell hits a T-34, I don't actually even know if it reveals what Paul is doing. It might. I don't know. I mean, he can afford 7 T-34s worth right now with his tanks, or with his current fuel reserves. He can make so many. Just fielded a mortar though, so spending some manpower on non-T-34s makes me think he might not be planning that. I don't know. He does manage to take control of the center VP. Will be forced to retreat by a Stuka barrage, however. Clock is stopped. Clock is stopped. 2 demo charges down here, but that Minesweeper is just gonna spot him, just walk around him. Can't defuse them though, not safely. He's just gonna have to leave them there until he can clear it up with a grenade or something. Panzer Fusiliers taking control of the center VP once again, while Paul is being forced to regroup a little bit here in the base. And Paul canceled his mortar and poured it into another T-34. He is definitely going to mass just a million of these. I am curious, however, how many he will feel comfortable fielding before he ultimately is making his attack. He doesn't have all the time in the world. The more manpower he cranks into those tanks, the less powerful his pushes for the center are going to be. Ooh, getting some nice flame bursts though. CaptainSPrice needs to spread out. Nice grenade though, nice grenade. Pops a flamethrower. Look at these flame crits. Price, spread out. You're asking for this. Pushed out of the middle with huge manpower bleed just because of flamethrowers. Just a tiny little army of flamethrowers pushing in that direction. Vaults over the wall, smart move. Closes into short range on that Minesweeper. And there it goes. And apparently Paul will bomb the point just to buy a tiny amount of victory point time. That is a huge munitions expenditure just to force them off the points for a little while, but every second counts when you're trying to get that swarm going. Looks like Paul's just going to go with 3. I don't know. That's not very many. That's not very many. He's got so much fuel in the bank. I feel like he could have stalled a little longer. He's also going to reveal that to his opponent. He does pick up the Minesweeper, though. Picking up the Minesweeper is a big win. His opponent's very behind on manpower as it is. But he just played his hand. His opponent now knows about this T-34 swarm, giving him a chance to maybe react. I mean, he's already got a Jagdtiger on the field. We'll have to be careful how he positions it. The Jagdpanzer is going to go hunting, but the T-34s are just pulling back for now. Paul's kind of running out of time a little bit. He's double capped. Stuka firing. Not sure what he saw. Wow! That Jagdtiger shot just popped a flamethrower. Oh! That was a big one! Really well placed. Really well placed Stuka barrage. That inflicted huge losses. Vet 2, 40 kills. Nice barrage. That shut down that push easily. Jagdpanzer stealthing across the south, looking for something, looking for an opportunity. More demo charges being planted with the Minesweeper dead. They're a bit more of a threat. Price knows about at least one of them. I don't even remember which one. Fresh Minesweeper being fielded now. Obviously he needs them for not only sweeping mines but repairs. And Paul's just going to keep massing T-34s. The losses of all that infantry really hurt him. Really hurt him, but he's got 1 VP. He's got 600 fuel. A medium tank swarm is the logical thing to do against a Jagdtiger. Didn't go with tier 4, didn't go with the Katyusha. So he's relying on his T-34s basically to be able to kill not only the Fusiliers but also everything. He needs those tanks to kill everything. And he needs a lot of them to do so. I don't even know how many T-34s it takes to win against the Jagdpanzer Jagdtiger. That's, I mean, that's when it really comes down to micro and judgment. You need to know exactly how many tanks it's going to take on this threat. I like this purchase, by the way, by CaptainSPrice of the tech structure here by the VP to help defend, because it doesn't take any pop cap. He's still finding ways to spend his resources, and including his fuel, at 97 out of 100 pop cap. Minesweeper will reveal 2 of the demo charges here. Looks like he's going to simply take control of the fuel down here. And Paul is making a push for the North VP at this time, while the South is still somewhat defended by these demo charges. Folks Grenadiers will probably get pushed away. There they go. T-34s don't land any particularly good shots. And conscripts are going to take control of the victory point. Uh-oh, getting a little close. Got a little close there. No squad wipes though. Grenade going out on the second. This doesn't detonate it, of course. Combat engineers continue to provide vision. Oh, don't get too close, Price. What are you doing? And the combat engineers down here will retreat. All demo charges swept up. The victory point will fall into Price's hands, but the North has been taken by Paul, continuing to slow things down, allowing this T-34 swarm to keep building up. And all the demo charges are cleared up here in the South. Is 5 T-34s enough? Is the question that Paul now has to ask himself. Should I go for 6? How many is it going to take on a Jagdtiger and a Jagdpanzer? It's so interesting to see how these players react to their opponent's decision. T-34s are not at all vulnerable to the Stuka, which was CaptainSPrice's reaction to Heavy Tier 2, which was Paul's reaction to the Jagdtiger, which was CaptainSPrice's reaction to the ISU-152. Both of these players adapting beautifully, to be honest, beautifully to the situation they're in. How often do you see a player go with a T-34 swarm after Jagdtiger's hitting the field? And these decisions are exactly why the game has lasted for an hour, as the players are forced to think very carefully about what they're going to do next, think carefully about how they're going to manage the victory points. And of course, Captain Price has to dodge these demo charges that are all over the map. But it would probably behoove him to try and triple cap Paul here. Not a lot of defenses up here in the north, just that one Maxim. Stuka could clear that out. It's currently making its way towards the front lines here a little bit. T-34 is hiding in the back. Look like they want to make a harassment attempt down here in the south. And finally, the Tier 4 structure on the center VP has been revealed by that Minesweeper. So that's another thing those T-34s will have to deal with. Stuka just fired at something. Here it comes, trying to shut down this harassment. Does wipe the Minesweeper squad, but the conscripts are fine. It looks like Paul maybe wants to go in. Nope, he just doesn't like it. He's not comfortable with it yet. I guess he's going to go for a 6th T-34. Minesweeper reveals the demo charge up here. Look at this Minesweeper play. How many is he going to reveal? Man, he's so on point with that Minesweeper. I can't believe how many he's spotting. Shutting down these demo charges. At this point, if I were Paul, I would have completely given up on demos, but he just keeps throwing them down. I guess he has more faith in demos than in the bomb run to accomplish anything useful. This force from Captain Price, applying pressure to the north, will probably get the clock ticking again as the game slides into 1 hour and 1 minute. It's really coming down to the wire. Paul still has time, and that 6th T-34 is on its way. Demo charge gets, I guess, grenaded. Or blown up for whatever reason, and Stern Pioneers are going to take control of that North VP. Six T-34 rolling onto the field. He needs to mass so many of these just to feel comfortable going into an engagement against Vet-2 Jagdpanzer, Jagdtiger. AT grenades are a potential threat, and we do have one Volksgrenadier squad here, Panzerschreck. And Captain Price really needs to put a little more pressure on Paul. I mean, letting him mass this many tanks. Because he just can't seem to get 3 victory points under his control, giving Paul so much time to get those tanks out. I feel like it might cost him a little bit here in the late game. But I don't think Paul wants to go in until he absolutely must. The fact that he's spending all of his manpower on tanks does mean that he doesn't have much infantry left. Doesn't really have much of a way to protect the South VP, which it looks like CaptainSPrice is about to take control of. Minesweeper squad going for the north might slow the clock down a little bit, but that 7th T-34 is definitely the last one. There's no way Paul's going to be able to wait for an 8th, despite having 400 fuel in the bank right now. He's also got 200 munitions for a bomb run in the middle of his next push. This next push is going to be the one that decides the game, and Captain Price knows this. He knows that those T-34s are massing. He's throwing down defenses. He's got mines coming down on the road. Jagdtiger's still in position to defend. Vet-2 Jagdpanzer's cloaked here in the south to defend. This is going to be a huge engagement coming. Paul's run out of time. He absolutely has to make something happen. Let's see what he decides to do. Minesweeper's gonna get cleared off the battlefield. Another squad wiped. Although he does spot those mines. That could be very valuable information to Paul if he noticed. Looks like he's actually going to split his tank forces, sending 3 to the North VP and 4 to the South. Interesting decision, and I really am super curious if he's just going to do victory point management with these, or if he's going to try and make a decisive engagement against Captain Price's units. What is that Jagdpanzer doing? Oh my god! Stuka firing somewhere, but honestly there's not anything left on the battlefield for it to hurt. Light damage to one tank, I guess. T-34 is looking for an opportunity. Jagdtiger nails one. Paul playing a little conservatively, not going to make a big push into an engagement that he can't win. Jagdpanzer looking for an opportunity here as well. We could see these tanks pull back for some repairs. Shot will connect, and 2 of the tanks here are brought down to half health, but up here in the north, we could see a squad wipe. Oh no! So low! Wow, and he just gave a Panzerschreck over to his opponent. That could be huge in the coming climactic engagement. Paul running out of time, though, only 81 points remaining, and he has no repair power at all, really. I feel like he might be a little too passive. He doesn't have that much time to be just kind of dancing around with these tanks. He really needs to make something happen. He has slowed the victory points down with the Maxim and conscripts here in the north. But will that be enough? I really don't know. Is he really going to try to repair 4 T-34s to full? Does he really have time for that? And is CaptainSPrice going to go get that VP or what? What is he waiting for? Is he trying to kill his own Stuka? He doesn't even want it anymore. He says, I don't want this Stuka. This is a waste of fuel and PopCap. I'm up against T-34s. Get rid of this thing. Come on, Jagdtiger. Scuttle that Stuka. We need to field something more useful for the coming engagement.
Good work, men.
Taking its sweet time, though. I'm sure he'll get it eventually. I don't know. Looks like Paul accepts the reality that he has not got time to repair his T-34s, and he will attempt to manage the south victory point with these 4. He's continuing to split his forces, not going to go with a really decisive, aggressive push. Stuka's going to clear this building, I think. Almost. Doesn't even actually fully clear the building, and the Maxim is still alive. With these 3 T-34s available for counter-harass, that victory point will remain under Paul's control. Minesweeper here is going to get forced away by this Minesweeper, I think. These 4 T-34s not making much of an engagement, and the Jagdtiger will not make an aggressive push towards the north. Paul really, really wants his opponent. Price says, here, kill it. I do not want it. I really don't. And here comes a Panther. Good decision. I absolutely agree with the Panther purchase. To fill his PopCap back up and give him some more anti-T-34 firepower. And Paul will take control of the south victory point. With that Panther in progress, if Paul allows it to complete, that is, the engagement may shift back in CaptainSPrice's favor, but with Paul defending the south VP with 4 T-34s defending the north VP with 3 more, the clock will start ticking against CaptainSPrice again, forcing CaptainSPrice to be aggressive. Oh no, is that going to destroy before a Panther completes? Oh, could it happen? Bomb run, T-34s are missing all of their shots though. And the Panther hits the field. I thought it would happen, but this is it regardless. Look at this, 4 T-34s coming in from the west, 3 from the north, none destroyed yet. 1 hits a mine, 2 hit a mine, engine destroyed, engine damaged. Jagdtiger's been marked. Continually dazed, has fallen to about half, but here comes the Panther. 1 T-34 abandoned, trying to circle strafe this Jagdpanzer here in the south, dealing significant damage to that. Jagdtiger turns about for more shots on these T-34s. This one's been abandoned. This one's been abandoned. Jagdpanzer's going to take another out here in the south, maybe if Paul cannot get behind it, and it is Vet 3. Panther also helping in the engagement to help take out T-34s. This T-34 has been destroyed. Paul's remaining units are only these 2 infantry squads, as all of his tanks have been wiped off the map. The push goes all wrong. All wrong, and it looks like we could have CaptainSPrice take the game. I really don't think there's any way that Paul can win this from this point forward. He queues up 2 T-34s, 40 points behind. Losing control of the south, probably going to lose control of the entire map at this point. That is a Vet 4 Jagdpanzer now. Jagdtiger getting repaired here in the base. And that T-34 swarm just was not enough. It wasn't enough, and I think his biggest problem was if he had just pushed a little earlier before that Panther came on the field. Just a little earlier. He was too indecisive. He just, the last split second, was not able to stop it, and he split his engagement between the Jagdpanzer and the Jagdtiger instead of focusing 1 target down at a time. Great usage of mines by Captain Price in preparation for the engagement, shutting down 2 of those T-34's engines. And, I don't know. I guess that engagement just did not go in Paul's favor. Captain Price will triple cap his opponent with Fusiliers up here in the north. Get that clock ticking against Paul again. And this hour and 10 minute, not even slugfest, I don't even know what to call this. Battle of Wits will come to an end
They have 25 points remaining.
as Paul runs out of VPs.
They only have 10 points remaining. Enemy knocked out.
Desperation T-34 is destroyed. ISU runs to the front line to, I don't know, shoot at something, but clearly not enough. Good game. Axis wins.